I just finished having a brainstorming session with Janica, who's our writer, who's helping us to write all the copy for our website and a whole bunch of other things. And there's this gap. There's this gap between what you're thinking and the words that you want to express, between goals and results, between brands and consumers. The gap between what we wanted to say and the words that actually mean what we want to say. And I like being able to talk to other people, to share with them what it is that we're thinking so they know what it is that we're trying to communicate, and give them the space and time to think and process and put that into some form that is really what their strengths are. Let me try this again.
I want you guys to listen to me.
Yeah.
I design sandwiches. My name is Szekely and I talk about the design of business. I talk about a lot of stuff.
My name is Chris Doe and I talk about the business of design.
At the center of this operating system, it's about understanding.
Jose, can we just tell them what the show title is?
I hate you, dude.
You are watching The Process. Hey, Janica.
Hey, how are you?
Thanks for coming by.
Of course.
So for you guys that are tuning in, this is just another part of us relaunching our site and repositioning ourselves. And Janica is a writer. I'd say hi to the people, Janica.
Hey, everyone.
We've identified the 3 key words or the search phrases that we want to rank in the top 10 on Google. So we want to be known as a brand strategy agency and a business design consultancy. And that's the work that we like to do, and I think we want to start moving into that space. So now what we need to do is to really write copy that will attract people that are looking for a brand strategy agency or a business design consultancy. So that's what really matters to us. Historically speaking, we've been focused mostly on motion design and motion graphics. So we would front load the site with a lot of commercial music videos and that kind of thing. But we're taking a more client direct approach. So strategies totally change. And we're going to talk a little bit about that via the sitemap. So let me pull up the sitemap. I believe this is called information architecture or the site taxonomy. Basically, it's a very clear blueprint as to how somebody's going to navigate through our site. If you go onto our site today, it's all about the work. It literally says at the top, just show me the work. So it's very portfolio reel driven. But if you want to do something for the user, you have to kind of think about what does the user want? And so it's a very different user. And what they want is, I think they need to see if we're the right fit from a branding point of view. Most companies talk about what they do, and some of them know how they do it, but very few of them know why they do what they do. That's kind of the purpose, the mission, whatever it is that's deeper within you, that's driving you to do what you do. But he says with Apple, it's the exact opposite. They tell you why they do what they do, and who they're for, their beliefs, their values. They're for people who don't fit in a box, the square peg in the round hole. They're looking to change the world for the better. And that's why they exist. They want to provide those people with the tools so that they can change the world. How they do it is through really beautifully designed computers and hardware and software. And it's done through an iMac or whatever. It turns out we care a lot about why a company exists and what they stand for. This is really what I need your help with, right? Okay, so what we do, introductions, service buckets, image, short descriptions, list of services. Let's look at the copy you wrote. I think you're trying to straddle between where we're at and the comps and what I need it to be. So the first thing we need is just do like a palette cleanse and say forget all that stuff. I'm hoping we just use this as a brainstorming session to kind of hammer out the copy and what it needs to say. So let me tell you what I was thinking first, and then we'll see how you interpret it. Is that okay? Yeah. All right. So when I go and present to prospective clients, I have a very specific deck, and it speaks to them about why design thinking, brand strategy is really important. But I try not to use kind of insider jargon. So I'm really trying to explain what is it that we do. The metaphor that seems to make the most sense is we build bridges. So if I draw a literal, like a Golden Gate kind of bridge here, between one thing to the other, what are those things and how does it make sense and what's in it for the client? People have great ideas. So this is the idea, and this is the form it takes. Jose would call the idea the spirit or something. The form is the things that we create, what it looks like when we make it tangible. There is a strategy, I hope I can spell that correctly, conceived, and then strategy And it's important that the word strategy appears twice here, realized. And this is usually where it breaks down. The reason why it breaks down is I think you have a couple like really smart strategists, marketing people, writers, big idea people that have no connection to how it's made. Mm-hmm. And so they write up a brief, a marketing plan, and then they give it to somebody. And that somebody, usually an agency, a firm like ours, will then take the brief and interpret it, but they didn't have a hand in crafting it. So that's problem number one. The bigger problem, though, is that the most creative people, the free thinkers, the designer creative types, they're not really helping to solve the problem. They're just helping to give that problem or the solution some kind of form. When we say we bridge, we don't really mean like you give us the idea and we'll just run with it. So I want to be careful about any language that talks about artful this or that or just beautiful design or award-winning, because that's not what matters. Okay. What's in it for the end user? So that's my picture, that's my drawing of a person, the silhouette, the puzzle piece. What's in it for them? Well, this is the brand, and the brand has users. What we're trying to do is we're trying to help them understand how to provide value to their users. How do we make their lives better? So that's why the free thinkers need to be involved in helping to surface what their needs are from their wants. I'm trying to explain this to you in a way that in your smart brain you can then turn it around into like a really bite-sized piece of information. My philosophy on how we do what we do. So where we provide value to our client is we step in and we help to facilitate the dialogue and do user profiles to understand who the users are, their pains and their gains, their wins and losses. And then something emerges like, well, the brand can say, well, we could do a better job of A, B, and C, and that's how we help our clients, our customers win. That's how we make their lives easier. That's how we provide value. So that's how we build the bridge between the brand and the users by surfacing their pains, highlighting solutions along the way. So once we own these things with the customer, the client, and understand who their users are, a strategy is formed, and then that has to take some kind of shape. So this is the golden triangle, if you will. Understand the users, what their needs are, figure out what the strategy, and give it some form. There's the customer, and there's the people who serve the customers, the people who make the products, and they have needs too. So if a company, a culture, can create a culture that serves all the people, then it's going to do really well. It's going to help to innovate new products, new services, new ideas, and give them a competitive advantage. All right? So these are the terms: brand strategy agency and business design consultancy. Okay, so now given some of that context, which line do you feel like is addressing that the best?
This one, we bridge the gaps between business needs and user wants to design innovative brand strategies.
We bridge the gaps between business needs and users wants to design innovative brand strategies. I like that sentiment. It is a mouthful to say. I need a more condensed elevator pitch that has just like, the way I like to think of it is if you had to explain it to your mom or a fifth grader, like how would you speak? When you can explain it that way, like think different, I don't have to explain it to anybody. It's that clear. Just do it. Okay. I totally get it. So how can we condense this down into like a bite-sized nugget? What do you think we can do? And typically when you're writing, how do you write? Do you use note cards?
When I'm writing, I typically just kind of go at it and let it flow, and I'll write a bunch and then I'll start deleting, and then I go back, and so I kind of spend a while working on one sentence, but it's always going at it and editing, refining, and then I'll find something I like.
It's similar to how other writers I know work. You just go through and you write the same thing like 15 times.
Yeah, it's hard to
try
just
not to edit
come
it
up
too
with,
much.
Yeah.
So you just write the same line over and over and you figure it out. And then you find which one sounds the best and you start to massage and edit that, okay? So if we can just identify 3 phrases, because I like threes, right? If we can do it in threes. So here's phrase 1, here's phrase 2. And I just want to play a game with you and put one word here, one word here, one word here. And then all the other words are just ways to make it easier to say. So what do you think, if I say, and we don't have to use the word bridge, it could be anything, but bridge is, most people get. So what do you think this and this should be on those 2 sides? Where does the gap exist?
The ideation to the conception, the final product.
Or you can say from strategy to execution. That's another way to say that, right? Now we have to be careful here because most agencies will come up with a strategy, write the script, and then give it to a production company to do. I'm saying that this is not what we do because we're undifferentiated at that point because everybody else is on this side waiting for that to happen. What else do you think?
The goals to meet to the results.
Well, I like that. That's nice. From goals to results. I like the way that's simply said, and everybody can get that.
And then the brand to the users.
Okay. Which one do you think makes the most sense to open up with? Like if we had to reorder this, like, hello, we're a business design consultancy or strategic brand agency, something like that. What we do is we help to connect this to this, this to that, this to that by building whatever.
I think you should start off with goals to results because as a CMO or whoever is coming to the site, they're on the site for that reason. They have an end goal.
Yes. What do you think the goals are as a CMO?
Whatever to...
increase revenue?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right?
That works.
That's really what they're trying to do, right? Increase revenue. Now we have to put our business caps on and pretend like we're the CMO. Increase revenue, market share. Is that okay? Awareness?
Yes.
But now they look for more than just awareness. They're looking for engagement. And their goals are to have, I think, better marketing materials. That's a more traditional ask. Because I think a lot of times they feel like how they're reflected on the outside doesn't feel like it's in alignment with how they feel inside. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like we're a bigger, better brand than what we put out there. I feel like we look cheap or we're not as innovative as we really are. So how would you describe that? If we put it back into this formula, there's a disconnect between something and something. Like if you think you're ugly outside but you're a beautiful human being, there's an internal external component.
Is what is perceived and what's actually realized?
Okay. Why don't we try this on for size? External perception. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Versus internal what? I didn't like the word realized. It didn't seem to describe. Like awareness or what? No, that's not. Come on, Miss Writer. Internal something. There's the internal and external and they don't match. Internal value, self-worth, something like that, right? So I'll just use the word value for now. I don't know what the word is. It's a horrible word, but you'll figure out something really smart. As long as you can remember, if we have a breadcrumb back to this, then you'll be able to follow this path back, okay? All right. So they need to help increase revenue, grow the market share. They want to increase awareness and drive engagement, which is more important. They need better marketing materials because their perception is that what they put out isn't reflective of who they feel that they are. That's a big one. And this is the job that a lot of designers are really good at doing. Making $1 million brand look like $1 billion brand, right? We make stuff look more expensive than what it really is. Or we make it look more credible. or more trustworthy, whatever the words are. So there's something there. Now, we also profiled a different user. I'm going to call this person the discerning executive or CEO. Why I say discerning is because they're very brand conscious, design savvy. So that's a really quick profile for you to understand who they are, okay? They're looking for the best of the best. And I know some of their pains and gains, okay? They want the best company. They want great service. They want a fair price they're willing to pay. They're not cheap at all, but they want it just to be fair. Their pains are minimize risk. Are you the best suited to do this thing? So we have a little profile. There's two kinds of people. Are you familiar with the term design thinking?
For me, it's actually pretty recent.
Okay, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I think it's just becoming part of the design lexicon, and people are talking about it, just like they've been talking about branding for a really long time. And there's different explanations of it. And I'll give you my explanation of it. Really, design thinking is just taking magnifying glass. This is my rendition of a magnifying glass, and understanding the lives of the users, their pains and their gains. So you can't read that, so I'll just write plus and minus, and helping to solve those problems. Out of that can come all sorts of solutions and services, and I think that's where a lot of companies are focusing their energy, is design thinking. So just focus on these things.
Okay.
And we should talk about it from a point of empathy. We need to empathize with these people. It's not about us, it's about them. So I don't know if you've heard of the ADA principle in terms of writing copy. Like you're mostly self-taught, right? Through work experience, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I came across this acronym, and it's from Glenn Ross. Did I say that right, Aaron? Okay. It's called ADA, and it's like this, ADDA, okay? And it's the scene with Alec Baldwin. He points to the flip chart. So, he's like, do we get coffee? He's like, coffee is for closers. So he says that because it's this big pep rally. He says, what do you drive? And I drive a Mercedes S-Class, and it's full on sales. It's super annoying, but a lot of people love this film. And there was a video that I watched, and he broke it down a little differently. So A, as in the film and the video, is for attention. What are we going to say to grab the attention of the intended person? And what I've learned in copywriting is the headline is supposed to be self-selecting, and it's supposed to appeal to the person's self-interest. We need to appeal to their self-interest in that first line. Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I want to win friends and I want to influence people. That's it. That's for me. Okay? So it's appealing to the person's self-interest. D is he talks about, I think is detail. And you could swap these two out, and the other D is a desired state. And then the last one is call to action. Okay? So the way it would work is something like this. Attention would be, double your income in half the time.
Sounds good.
So then now you have to say how. So that's the detail. A 3-week course costs this, and that. Right? Mm-hmm. Because you deserve to fly first class, live in the neighborhood you always want to, provide for your family. So it's creating a desired state, like how we want to be. And then the last one is the call to action. Now you've got me interested, you got me hooked in, and you're driving me deeper and deeper into the copy or to the site. What's the action you want me to take? Start a project. Get a quote. Do something. We want them to do something. He said that the clearer you can be in that call to action, the better. We want to do it in a more sophisticated way, but the underlying structure, the ADA principle, is still there. So crafting that first line is super duper important. What is the value we're going to provide to them? So these are the kinds of things we're concerned about. I'm going to leave that to you. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
are CMOs and CEOs aware that there is a gap in the process? Like, is this something they need to kind of be informed of? That's what's missing in...
I would like to think so, because if they're out there searching, it means something is not working. If you are happily married, you don't search. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to search around. So I think they realize something. The discerning executive, he's totally obsessed. He or she is totally obsessed. They look at their site, they look at their analytics, they look at their engagement. They're data-driven people, and it's not clicking. Revenue's down, our stock is down, our site sucks. Our logo looks like it came from 99 Designs, right? All these things are not in alignment. Because if they're in alignment, they're not going to be looking, and we can't sell. We're only looking for people who want to grow, who want to innovate, who want to increase market share. They want to do something. That's why we love these people, because they're always pushing. I've yet to meet a high-performing, alpha-type executive CEO who's just complacent. It just doesn't happen.
And do you want them to know that this is a new approach that Blind is taking, or kind of keep it like something where you've been doing this all along?
I think all this talk about design thinking, the new understanding of branding, is relatively new. Mm-hmm. And I say that in the last 10, 15 years maybe. Change is inevitable, but progress is a choice. Just like how I was talking to you about Snapchat. I don't get it, but I know I need to get on it. I need to understand this thing, because it's an important communication tool and a social platform that younger people are using. So we already know that's the future. And they've grown up with the internet. They've grown up with smartphones. They're always connected 24/7. And then they're open. I mean, they live in an open, transparent society. They share everything. So to sit back and say that we're not going to adopt that is to say like goodbye to our future customers. Mm-hmm. So they need to make a decision if they want to grow, or if they just want to just hold on to what they have. So I want to speak in tones that attract these kinds of people.
Okay.
The hardest thing in the world is to know yourself. So when we're talking about companies and why they hire outside brand consultancies, is because they've lost their way. They forgot who they are. They forgot why they exist. I'm not for everybody in every way that you can interpret that. We're only looking to attract a certain kind of person who has a degree of risk tolerance, that wants to push the edge, that knows they need something, but they're not quite sure how to get there. I want to do something that's going to actually move the needle for our clients, that's going to have a tangible result. And I'm willing to bet that I can create that, like with real money. Like, don't pay me, okay? That's how much I believe in what we do. That's kind of my attitude. As you'll see when you learn more about us and how I feel, it's like I have a point of view. I'm okay with it being wrong, but I want to have a point of view, and I definitely have one. So pretend like you were interviewing me or something, and you had to ask me a question so you can clarify this, or if you don't, that's totally okay too. If you don't have a question. Is there anything I can do to make it clearer?
So when we're speaking to the CMO and a CEO, do you want to give off a tone that's kind of like, we're there to help, rather than trust us, we've done this before, we know what we're doing?
Yeah, I think we're here to help. I think we're here to help. It sounds better than trust us.
Okay.
The reason why is when you say trust us, I don't trust you. And I think the way you show empathy is you really just speak directly to what's going on. For example, this doesn't sound great, but you could say something for the discerning CEO. Is your outwardly facing brand representative of the value you see in your company? So I prefer asking some questions if we can, because it engages the person. So when I'm teaching this kind of stuff, I say don't sell. Don't tell them you're an expert. Don't tell them trust us. Don't tell them you're valuable. Just ask them some questions, and the quality of the questions you ask will then express your value. It demonstrates your value. I literally can go into a room and say, I don't know anything about this at all, but say it in a way that earns me respect, and people then start to trust me. I'm not fronting. All right, so you guys are getting a glimpse into how we talk about our work and how we're going to be positioning our agency. You guys have tuned into the first video with Jamie, where we're just talking about the content structure, and now we actually have to figure out what the content is. And this landing page, when people get on the site, is very important for us in terms of whether or not we're going to connect with our potential customer or not. So I hope you guys found value in that, and hopefully you guys didn't see Janica sweat too much. I can't see her sweating at all, so it must be deep in the back of her.
It's there.
It's there. But she's much cooler right now. Totally cool. So let's see what she comes up with, and that's all I have to say. Tune in next time. Let us know if you like this video. Do all that social media stuff. See you guys.